Imagine, you have 3 spoons. One holds 10 grams of salt, and the other can hold 3 grams of salt. In your head, attempt to make the largest one hold 4 grams of salt. This is easy to do. However, now imagine 3 tablespoons again. This time the first spoon is filled with 8 grams of salt. The second can hold 5 grams but is empty, and the last can hold 3 but is also empty. Now, divide up the spoons so that the first 2 spoons, which can hold 8 and 5 grams, only have 4 grams of salt in them. This problem is much more challenging and requires one to think more in depth to solve the problem. It requires more thought than problem 1 to interpret the information. Therefore, the strategy for going about and solving the problem will be harder. This is problem solving. The first step in solving a problem is called problem presentation, which means interpreting or defining a problem. Imagine you need to make $100 for a special item you have to buy. There are many ways in going about getting this money. You could work for it, steal it, or even ask or beg your parents for it. Problems that have no single right solution and that call for flexible, inventive approaches call for divergent thinking. However, in doing a simple math problem, how would one find the radius of a circle when he knows that the x component is 5 and the y component is 12? This way of thinking is known as convergent thinking, where one's thinking is directed toward one correct solution to a problem. Now, imagine a similar math problem. You need to find what x equals in this quadratic equation. 2x squared minus 5x minus 18 equals 0. There are quite a few ways in going about solving this. Tyler is using a trial and error method where he plugs in x equals 4. Another way, however, is information retrieval. Tyler knows how to do these problems because he has done them in the past. He can retrieve information from long-term memory about how such a problem can be solved. A third way he can solve this problem is if he knows a quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is an algorithm. An algorithm is a problem-solving method that guarantees a solution if it's appropriate for the problem. Because Tyler knows the quadratic formula, he can solve for what x equals. However, we don't have algorithms for all life's problems. This is when we resort to using heuristics, or rules of thumb that help in simplifying and problem solving, although they don't guarantee a correct solution. One heuristic strategy is hill climbing, or trying to move continually closer to our goal without going backwards.
Who won the 1828 election? Henry Clay was not a president. Herman Cain, he's present day. Andrew Jackson? Maybe. Not Abraham Lincoln. It's gotta be C, Andrew Jackson.
Another problem-solving heuristic is to create sub-goals, which involves breaking problems into smaller, more manageable pieces that are easier to solve individually than the problem as a whole.
This crossword is so tedious. I'll work for a little and take a few breaks.
Help! I need somebody. Help! Not just anybody. Help! You know I need someone.
However, if Tyler simply wants to reduce the discrepancy between his current situation of having no answers to his desired goal of having them all filled in, he will use means-end analysis. Look what he does.
I'm going to start with filling in all the ones that I already know.
I'll change my mind. I'll open up the doors. Help me if you can.
However, sometimes means-end analysis strays away from the desired goal. In these cases, we can work backwards. With this strategy, the search for a solution begins at the goal and works backwards to the givens. Let's go back to the quadratics in math. If Tyler knows the values of x, how would he find the initial equation? Because Tyler knows what x equals, he can find the original equation. He is working backwards to do this. As we can see, this matches the original equation. The Holy Scriptures. Many factors can either help or hinder problem solving. One factor may be motivation or someone's emotions. Another is mental sets or a tendency to perceive and to approach problems in certain ways. One type of mental set that can hinder problem solving is called functional fixedness. The more you use an object in one way, the harder it is to see new uses for it and realize it can be used for entirely new purposes.
They say an end can be a start. Feels like a barbarian still alive.
Oh, my back is so itchy. I can't reach it.
If Tyler didn't use his functional fixedness, he could see that the pen he was holding could actually have a dual use of a back scratcher. How good does that feel? Like Tyler itching his back with his pen, others should always be on the lookout for good ideas. This is what happens during brainstorming, which is a problem-solving strategy in which an individual or group of people produces numerous ideas and evaluates them only after they have all been collected. Yo, what do you want to do today?
Wanna play paintball?
You want to go to the beach? Nah, let's do paintball.
Paintball. Paintball.
Come on.
Well, now that you know all about problem solving, hopefully your life will be that much easier from the knowledge that Tyler, Devin, and I have bestowed upon you.
It's the time of the season when love runs high.